Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and it's time to do a full review on the HP Spectre x360 laptop, of course it being the x360, because it can turn into a tablet if you would so choose. Now, with that being said, I do want to start off by showcasing Windows Hello, because the webcam has that integration. So I go ahead and tap the space bar. It should actually wake it from sleep right away. As you can see, it's very quick. I just go ahead and look at it, unlock it right away. To begin, the model that I've been using is an Intel Core i7-7500U processor along with 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, it does have a 512 gig PCI Express solid state drive and also a 940MX discrete graphics card. In terms of design, HP has done a fantastic job with this laptop. Real quick, going over everything, on the left side here, you have a USB Type-A slot, which I think is very important in the transitional phases between Type A to Type C. You have a headphone jack, power buttons on the outside here, which is nice, of course, with it being able to go into a tablet mode, a vent, along with an SD card slot, which has been very nice to have because, of course, every camera out now still uses an SD card. Now, on the right side here, you have volume rockers, which I only use in tablet mode. Otherwise, I use the keyboard. Another vent, HDMI slot, along with two USB Type-C slots. So as I mentioned, two USB Type-C, one USB Type-A. I do find that occasionally I will need to use a dongle still to add maybe an extra USB Type-A or any other USB slot. Now, when I'm at my desk, I usually just attach this USB-C AUKI adapter. I'll link to it down below, where I can still charge it through this, along with the two USB slots and an Ethernet port as well. It's also worth mentioning that the two USB Type-C slots are on the right side, so that's the only side of the device that you can charge on. So I kind of wish they included a USB Type-C slot on the left side, because the charger is, of course, USB Type-C. Down at the bottom, you have another vent, along with some grips as well. And overall, I find this laptop to be extremely sleek. It's actually thinner than the new MacBook, along with the newest XPS 15 as well. I do have the newest MacBook, and it's just crazy how thin this laptop is, along with just the nice accents and overall very sleek design. I do get some comments occasionally when I'm working out in coffee shops and such on the accents and just kind of how cool this laptop looks. And of course, x360, so you can go ahead and move that display all the way flat, which you pretty much will never do, of course. However, that means you can turn it into a tablet in multiple ways. You could have it up as sort of a kiosk if you'd like. As you can see, it rotates with the way, the orientation of the specific laptop. And of course, you can have it this way, or you can go all the way flat with it. It will disable the keyboard, so you don't have to worry about snagging the keyboard, pressing keys while you're using it. But you'll see here, you could just use it in straight up tablet mode, which, in my opinion, it's a little bit too big to use in tablet mode. However, I find that when I'm on an airplane or in bed, I will have it propped up like this if I'd like to use it. And of course, it is a touchscreen, so I can just go ahead and use my finger, so I don't necessarily need to use the trackpad. The Spectre comes with a full-size keyboard, and I have been very happy with this keyboard in terms of the amount of shortcuts they have up top. One thing I noticed is that the backlighting on the keyboard, there's only one setting on or off. I kind of wish there was a brighter middle and low setting, but there isn't, and that's not too big of a deal. But in terms of typing on this keyboard, it has been fantastic. It has a 1.5 millimeter travel. It is honestly one of the best keyboards I've used on a laptop, on any laptop that I have used. Worth noting that on the right side here, home, page up, page down, and end are a little bit in a unique order, so if you use those a lot, it might take a little bit of time to get used to. I personally don't really use them, so not a big deal for me. And then, of course, the up and down arrow keys are half of a full key. And then, of course, here is a sound test using this keyboard. I will bump up the sound on my microphone as well as I do this test. You have a wide glass trackpad, which has some nice accents around it. And with it being wide, it's very easy to grab something on one side of a display and drag it all the way to the other side of that 15.6-inch display. Trackpad also brings along gestures, such as two-finger scrolling. A notable one is with 3 fingers, you can swipe down, minimize all your screens. You can swipe back up to reopen them. And then if you swipe up once more, it will bring up all open windows, along with allowing you to have another desktop as well. So you can have a couple desktops. Also, I mean, more than two. You can just add a new one, as many as you'd like. To my knowledge, I haven't really tried to push it to the limit. Anyways, you also have the ability to swipe left and right with 3 fingers to switch windows quickly, and that's another nice little trackpad gesture feature. The Spectre has Bang & Olufsen dual speakers with discrete amplifiers as well. And of course, I love the placement, allowing for the sound to come directly at you as opposed to out from the sides, or any other specific placement that you've seen. And overall quality has been very good. I've been very pleased with how loud it gets, the quality as well. Even when you push the volume up all the way, it still has some solid quality. Now, there's a couple ways you can change the volume with these volume buttons right here on the keyboard. You can mute with a little LED icon as well, letting you know it's muted. Or, of course, you can use the volume rockers that are on the side to turn it up. And I'm going to turn it all the way up, give you a little bit of a test. And I find that with multiple genres, even when maxed out, it really doesn't distort the sound. It's very clear. I've been very happy with these speakers. Let's move on to display of the X360, and this is one area where HP has excelled. As you can see, the bezels on the left and right are so minimal, only 4.65 millimeters. Now you'll notice, of course, it has a bit of a top bezel, and that is because the webcam is up there. I have seen a couple laptops with the webcam down here, which makes no sense to me. I would never want a webcam to be down here, so I'm glad they went with a little bit larger top bezel and added the webcam up top. Also worth noting that Wi-Fi radio is up top as well, and the Spectre has a 4K 15.6-inch IPS LCD display, and I've been super happy with it. Overall viewing angles have been great. It is a touch screen as well. With it being 4K, it will drain the battery a little bit more on that in just a second, but the colors look really great. I have been very pleased with it. So whatever content you want to watch in 4K, you can. More of a future-proof thing than anything. Of course, a lot of YouTube videos are in 4K. The one I'm shooting right now is in 4K as well. And I've just been really happy with it overall. Also worth noting that the Spectre comes with a stylus, so you don't have to purchase it separately. So I'm very happy about it. It's comfortable in my hand, feels very similar to any normal pen that I've used. And overall, I don't necessarily find myself using it a lot to navigate. However, if you do a lot of handwriting notes, maybe some coloring, some drawing, anything like that, it's very useful for. Overall, I've been very happy with battery life on the Spectre, especially considering it has that 4K display, which is a bit of a trade-off. If you want to go ahead and run it in 1080p, you're going to save some battery, but I find that I always use it in 4K, almost full brightness. You have the backlit keyboard on as well, so I don't try and necessarily conserve battery, and I find that I can get through about maybe 8.5 hours on battery. Now, of course, you have your standard Windows power saving options. You can change them to your liking in terms of performance, like I said, display resolution as well. Charging is very quick as well. You can get about a 50% charge in about a half hour, which has been great. Moving along, let's talk about a couple things. First of all, shutting down the laptop's very quick. I think a little over 6 seconds, and it shuts down. So that SSD runs very fast. So overall performance has been great. So you'll see it is shut off. Now talking about boot up speeds, it boots up very quickly as well. It will get to that lock screen from completely being shut down very quickly. So here it is, powered it on. I want to say it takes maybe a little over 13 seconds to boot up this laptop. And of course, I've been using Windows Hello to sign in. So that'll load on up. Here we go. I press the space bar. It says getting ready. Hopefully you can see me behind this tripod. Looks like it's not doing it. I'm hiding behind this camera, so it's a little bit difficult to make sure it's me. But as you saw earlier in the video, I've had no issues with Windows Hello not recognizing me when I look at the webcam. In terms of speed and performance, I've been very happy whether I've been doing some video editing, just random web browsing, anything like that, I've been very happy with. Now, in terms of gaming, it runs okay, at least when I play Rocket League or any other game, but I'm definitely going to have to bump down the graphic settings for sure. That 940 MX I've been not very happy with overall, so don't expect to do a lot of high-end gaming on the Spectre, especially with that specific graphics card they chose. But the processor, been very happy with in terms of video editing and processing video. It has been just fine. That processor definitely does the trick for me. Even at low graphic settings on 1080p quality, Rocket League cannot sustain 60 frames per second. So it is a little bit choppy when playing. Overall, it's playable. However, I'm just a little disappointed in it not being able to handle the 1080p quality at 60 frames per second, especially when I bump down the graphics quality settings pretty much all the way down. I just want to finish up with some final thoughts on the X360, and overall I have been very happy using this as my daily laptop. Performance has been great, battery life has been pretty good as well, especially considering it's using 4K display, and it is very sleek and slim, fits my backpack just fine. I brought it on an airplane, I've gone on a couple trips with it, and I've been very happy using it. And like I said, I don't use the 360 design too often, but I will occasionally, and it has come in handy, like I mentioned, on an airplane, or if I'm just laying in bed and want to go ahead and do a couple things on my laptop, I can go ahead and do so. With all that being said, I would say this laptop is a go for me. I definitely see myself continuously using it, whether I'm doing some video editing, gaming, just not quite there. So that would be the one thing. If you're looking for a gaming laptop, I wouldn't necessarily go with this guy, especially with that 940 graphics card. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed my review. More laptop reviews to come, so click that subscribe button. You can follow me on various social media as well. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching.